In the White Cloud Belgian wit, his remark, "Thanks, Julie. Hi, I'm Bobby. I'll be doing the next." What am I doing?
Hello. How are you guys? Hope you guys enjoyed that last video. You know, after 3 months of all the bars and restaurants being shut down, it feels good to finally be putting beer into kegs. And all these kegs that you see right here behind me, they've got a brand new beer in them, but there's only one place you'll ever be able to get it. Before I tell you about that, do me a favor, reach right down there, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. You really be helping us out. Come on, I'll tell you about this beer. Okay guys, so here's the info on that beer. Basically, back in episode 1, you heard me talk about us brewing a beer that was for a restaurant chain or a bar chain. I think we actually had footage of the brew day that day. So that's what this is. Those are all half barrel kegs full of a beer for Twin Peaks. So the Dirty Blonde at Twin Peaks, if you're in Oklahoma, you order one at the Twin Peaks, you're drinking a Skydance beer. Okay, so here's a little bit more of the business side of things. So the other thing that we've done during this little lockdown time is it really took the time to kind of hit the reset button on a few things, and it was a good opportunity to make a few changes, right? We have a bunch of changes in line. I'm not gonna share all of them in this video, but the next couple of videos, there's gonna be plenty of information out there. Here's the first change we made. So something a lot of you guys probably didn't know and probably don't actually care really, but I'm gonna give you a little insight to the backside of this business and what goes on. But typically most of our beer has always gone out into distribution in these, what they call quarter barrel size kegs, or 7.75 gallons. And during this little time of not putting beer in kegs and not selling beer to draft accounts, we decided it's a good time to make a change. Another thing you probably don't realize is that most of the kegs that we use, we don't even own them. We rent or lease most of our kegs, and we lease them from a company called Keg Logistics. Behind me here are the 7.75 gallon kegs that we've been leasing, or that's about half of them. The other half are still out in the market somewhere waiting on those to come back to us so we can send them back. Why lease instead of buy? It's a good debate. If you have the money, then obviously it's a better deal to buy them up front. We did buy 100 of our kegs right up front that were 7.75 gallons, and I'll tell you, now I regret it. And I'm actually glad that most of the kegs we used have been leases, because now I've decided to make a change. You know, you don't know what you don't know in the beginning. So we thought we wanted this size keg. Now we realize we need to switch. And if I owned all of those kegs, I'd be in a little bit of trouble right now trying to sell kegs, because there's not a big market for draft accounts right now. So it'd be kind of hard to sell them maybe. So, but luckily Keg Logistics worked out a good deal with us. We get to swap all of these that we have been leasing for the size of kegs that we actually want to start using. But that means I still have the other 100 that I bought. I got to figure out what I'm gonna do with those. So what size kegs do we switch to? Well, I'll show you. Right here is a half barrel keg. It's 15.5 gallons. And some of our beer will go in these kegs. All of the Twin Peaks beer goes into these kegs. Fancy Dance, Mosquito Hawk, those are a couple beers that you'll see some of that beer go into these bigger kegs. There's two reasons why a restaurant or a bar might prefer a 15.5 gallon keg over the other sizes. One is price. They get a little bit better deal per ounce on half barrel kegs. Somewhat of a discount for buying bigger bulk. But the other reason is a lot of draft accounts have long draft lines. And a lot of beer gets stuck in those draft lines. It might not seem like a lot, but for some places, it's quite a bit of beer. Now, In a 5-gallon keg or even a 7.7 gallon keg, that beer that ends up getting flushed out, lost to that draft line, makes up a pretty good percentage of the overall beer in that keg. Whereas the beer that gets lost out of one of these is a smaller chunk, right? So that's why a lot of people prefer the 15.5 gallon kegs, especially if they sell a high volume of beer. But most of our beer is going into these kegs. These are sixtels, or just over 5 gallons. Now, after everything I told you about the half barrel kegs, you might be wondering, why would a restaurant or a bar want to buy 5-gallon kegs? Well, there's a couple reasons. The main reasons, though, is just the fact that it's cheaper. So buying 5 gallons of beer is definitely a lot cheaper than buying 15.5 gallons. The other thing is, a lot of places will have 20, 30, 40, maybe 100 beers on tap, right? They have limited cooler space. And the smaller the kegs, the more kegs they can fit in there. That allows them to have that large selection of beer. So the other deciding factor on whether or not you're putting your beer into half barrels or sixtels or maybe even the quarter barrel kegs is really how well your beer sells. So if your beer is going to move a little bit slower in a particular account, they might prefer to buy a sixtel or a 5-gallon keg, or even the quarter barrel kegs that we were using before. But if you have a beer that moves really well and they know they're going to sell pretty high volumes of it, then they'll start asking for the half barrel kegs. And luckily for us, Fancy Dance and Mosquito Hawk have started to sell pretty well. We have several accounts who are now asking for the half barrel kegs. So another reason for our switch. Now, if I had to do it all over again from the beginning, I probably would have went with the half barrel kegs, the big ones, and the sixtels, the smaller ones, like I'm doing now. But my thought process at the time was, as a new brewery, a lot of bars and restaurants might not be willing to commit to 15-gallon kegs, not right off the bat anyways. They don't know if it's going to sell. We're brand new. They've never even had our beer. And the sixtels just aren't as good of a deal for the draft accounts, was kind of my thought. And the 7.75 gallon kegs were a little bit better deal. So in my mind, it was a way for a draft account to try our beer with a smaller keg, but yet get a better deal per ounce on the price than the sixtels. It's kind of confusing, but that was sort of my thought process. But probably should have just done what I'm doing now, which is sixtels and halves. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not the type of guy to look back in the past and question everything we've ever done. So far, everything seems to have worked out just fine. There's always bumps and bruises along the way, and we've learned from every step and every misstep that we've taken. So I'm grateful that we had beer in any size keg. Just had to kind of MacGyver a couple things. It just didn't go as planned. We got this little hose. I had to tape it together to keep it from popping loose several times. It was actually 2 days worth of cleaning just to get them done because we couldn't get it working right. But then yesterday, one of our partners in the brewery, Rod, came by to help me clean kegs. And about the time me and him got on a good roll, I sliced my finger open pretty good and kind of brought us to a halt until later last night. My fiance, also a partner in the brewery, Bobby, came by and helped me get most of them done, and then I finished them up this morning. You guys don't want to see that kind of stuff anyways, but just wanted you to kind of see the work that goes on besides just making beer. so I just want to take a minute out to remind everybody about the new podcast that's coming out Tuesday. So Tuesday morning, when you guys get up, get in the car, head to work or whatever, get on iTunes, search for Brewed with Hustle. It's our new podcast. In fact, I'm here right now with my boy Casey. We're working on the final touches to get the first several episodes ready to go. It's something we are really excited about. I hope you guys will check that out. Also, we're about to say goodbye to one of our core lineup beers. If you want to find out which beer that's going to be and what it's being replaced with, you're going to have to watch next week's vlog. All the more reason for you guys to hit subscribe down below. I will tell you, somewhere in this shot, in this video right now, is a hint that gives away exactly which beer it is we're saying goodbye to. I know some of you guys will see that, probably blow it for everybody and comment below, but go for it. Write them comments. So make sure you guys check that out next week as well. Okay, so going down in the category of things that are maybe attainable now that we won't be able to do in the future is I go into Untappd every week and I like or even reply to every comment and every beer review that somebody leaves on one of our beers in Untappd. So something new that we'll start doing on the vlog this week is showing you guys some of our favorite beer reviews from Untappd. In order to do this, we've enlisted some help from a few of our investors. Guys, show them what you have.
Hey everybody, Julie Aldridge here. I am one of the partners at Skydance. I live over in the Broken Arrow, Tulsa area. This one comes from Jeremy R. And he did a review of Skydance Fancy Dance, which is our New England IPA. Jeremy's comment was, it is by far my go-to drink. Just picked up a fresh batch and it gets better every single time. So thank you so much, Jeremy. We love those good reviews. We love that you love Fancy Dance. Keep those reviews up. Keep drinking Fancy Dance and cheers.
Thanks, Julie. Hi, I'm Bobby. I'll be doing the next one. Mod T was reviewing the White Cloud, which is a Belgian wit. The remarks say, a backlog from February. Anyone know when, hopefully not if, the Brewers Union is going to fully open up again? And our response is, we are shooting for June 12th, but stay tuned on social media from all of us at Brewers Union to get more details about that.
Hey guys, thanks for that. The next one comes from Michael M. Michael M is checking in from his home on Untappd. He's drinking a Fancy Dance New England IPA, just like me. His comment is that it's bitter than most New England IPAs. Not a fan for that reason, and he gave it a 2.75. Thanks for the review anyways, Michael. We appreciate that. Yes, Fancy Dance is a little more bitter, has slightly more bitterness than a lot of other New England IPAs. However, most of the New England IPAs that originated in the Northeast and Vermont, that's actually how they were brewed, with a little bit more bitterness. So if you've had Heady Topper, that kind of stuff, it's a little more bitter. But we appreciate the review. You guys keep them coming. Cheers. All right, thanks guys. Gotta love Untappd. So you guys get on Untappd when you drink our beer, leave a review on there. We'll get some of your reviews onto the vlog, and I think I'm trying to work out some sort of way of turning this into a little bit of a contest. So maybe we'll give away some shirts and stuff. So get on Untappd, check out our beers. Look, be honest, we don't care if it's a good review, bad review. As you can tell, we show them all. We're not afraid of them. So something else we'll try to do now is take questions from people. So if you guys get on social media, leave us a question. We get a lot of questions on our YouTube videos, Instagram, Facebook. Leave us a question, we'll answer them on the vlog. So this week we have a question from Ryan Bounce 04 from Instagram. And he wants to know how close we are to the next version of the DDH Fancy Dance. So I'm actually about to drink some Fancy Dance right now. If those of you guys that don't know about DDH Fancy Dance, basically it's a version of Fancy Dance that we double dry hopped, and The extra dry hop that goes into that batch is a hop that we don't normally use in Fancy Dance. And when we made Fancy Dance, we've always wondered what it would taste like with different types of hops in it. This is our way to find out. So the first round of DDH was with Brew 1, which was super like pineapple, tropical fruit flavors. And so to answer the question is actually we're brewing the next version of DDH this next week. So literally a couple days from now when you're watching this video. So next week's vlog, we'll have some footage of that and we'll show you what that special hop is that goes into that version of DDH. Ryan, thanks for the question, man.